Photo Shelter presents Vision Slightly Blurred. I'm Alan Murbayashi.
And I'm Sarah Jacobs.
We have a whimsical show today, Sarah, because we are talking about the greatest animated GIF of all time. But first, is it GIF or GIF?
Okay, it's GIF. I have met the creative director of Giphy.
Oh, well, he says Giphy, but the actual creator of the GIF says GIF.
Okay, it's a female, Alan.
Oh, okay. My bad. My bad.
Wait, okay, but the creator says that it was
so
GIF?
A lot of people don't know this. The GIF was developed in 1987 by a programmer
It's older than me.
named Steve Wilhitein. And he was actually a programmer for this old service called CompuServe. And the challenge was, how do we show an image online? So he said, well, let's reduce all the colors to 256. And here's a little compressed format called GIF/GIF. He says GIF. I say GIF.
We all say GIF.
We all say GIF. And then they created the animated version of that a few years later. Even back in the day, the first animated GIFs were really quirky looking.
Yeah.
Everyone thought that was going to die out. And yet here we are, almost 40 years later, still kicking it.
40 years?
Well, 30, 35, whatever the matter. 32 years later, we're still kicking it. You brought up Giphy.
Yeah.
It's now become probably the largest and most searched repository of the animated GIF, has taken $150 million in financing.
Whoa.
It is huge. Animated GIFs are huge.
That's amazing.
Business. So what do you think the secret sauce is to GIFs? Why have they just lasted for 32 years?
Oh, God. The comedic effect of seeing something repeated on loop, that's timeless, right? That's just like comedic gold right there.
And do you think kind of feeding into the comedic gold is also the low fidelity of the image? Like that's part of the appeal, is it looks so janky?
Oh, I never really thought about that, but they are really like low res pixelated things.
There was a project, still is a project at MIT called GIF, and you can find it at gifgif.media.mit.edu. And some of the academics there were very interested in the emotional content of GIFs. And then of all the emotions that they have, they present you with the GIFs that have ranked highly for that emotion.
Oh.
It's super interesting to look at those results.
Yeah.
It's super interesting to look at, to recognize some of those GIFs. And I will say that I think part of the emotional reaction is because the GIFs tend to be over the top. There's a conveyance of emotion that's not subtle at all, which kind of feeds into the comedic gold of it.
Right.
But you will find, for example, there's always lots of clips from The Office.
Oh, yes.
Right? I put together a list of some of my favorite animated GIFs. So I thought we could ping pong back and forth.
Okay.
And for the podcast listening audience, if we just describe what the GIF is, I wonder how many people will immediately be able to visualize it in their head.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll put a poll out on Twitter and see what sticks.
Oh, we definitely should.
All right, you go.
Okay, one of my favorites, Shaq shaking his shoulders and like looking like I'm about to do something.
Okay, I got one ready.
Okay.
Michael Jackson eating popcorn.
Yes. I recently used that.
What'd you use it for?
My friend was going on a date and I was ready to get the texts like about the date, like during the bathroom break. And I just was like, I'm here, I'm waiting for it. Like I'm going to watch it.
Right. That's the anticipation. I'm anticipating what's next. So you see that on Twitter a lot when people are about to have a Twitter fight, right?
Yes,
when someone says something incendiary and then the popcorn.
Like, we're just waiting. How are they going to clap back? Like, yes, 100%.
One of the questions that came up when I was looking at this issue was the whole copyright. So I was reading a Smithsonian Magazine article from June 2017, and the quote from this article says, "For now, GIFs are protected from copyright claims by fair use doctrine, which protects copying material for limited and transformative purposes. Though that protection hasn't been tested in courts." With any content on the internet, people are aware of the viral nature or the viral potential of any content. And so, like we said with Giphy, they are creating content, animated GIFs, with the intent of having that go viral. You know, if I am the producers of The Office, for example, and I see that some content from the show has become a meme, has become a memed animated GIF, I don't know that as a producer that I'm going to care about that, because to me that's marketing the series. That's keeping the series relevant. It's keeping those characters relevant, and some portion of those people are going to want to go back and watch The Office, right?
Absolutely.
It's different when you're a photographer whose image gets ripped off and memed. So I can certainly understand, again, what I consider to be a somewhat nuanced argument about who you are in the creator chain and what it means to have your content go viral in a way that you don't control, nor are you compensated for. Right. So that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, back to our gifts, because I got a few that are just gonna blow your mind away.
For me, I love Elmo, like with his hands thrown up and just fire and flames behind him. Love that one.
What about Oprah? You get a car.
Oh my God. Yes.
Right.
Amazing.
There was an article that I read a little while ago that talked about Black appropriation in GIFs and how often these like obese Black women who were doing these outlandish things were becoming the punchline of a lot of GIFs. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of started looking. So at Photo Shelter, because we're using Slack, we use a lot of GIFs. And I kind of went through in the way that the company was using GIFs as a whole to see if there was actually this weird undercurrent of either appropriation or like subtle racism, like we're making fun of the Black people. I can't say in the end that I agreed with the article. I think that these overly emotive characters, whether they're Black and white, whether they're animated characters, are the ones that tend to have long-term viral success.
Yes.
But I'm willing to be wrong on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that is I would love to read that article. I would argue that your use of GIFs, if you're a white woman and you're just constantly always
using Black people in your GIFs?
Yeah, like throughout your Twitter stream and in your personal conversations, like there's definitely there's a disconnect there. I don't want to like police behavior, but like,
it's
don't
weird.
Do that.
It's
weird. Yeah.
We're getting deep on the GIFs.
I know. I was just watching. It's so funny you mentioned that because I love the show Big Little Lies. Okay, on HBO, all about white women, right? There's one Black woman in the main cast of 5 women, and I was scrolling through Twitter last night after I watched episode 2, and there were so many GIFs reacting to the show that were like of Black comedians or like these moments.
Oh, really? Well, it's tough because the history of the Black minstrel show and blackface is all sort of incorporated into how Black people were not taken seriously. They were always like they were the comedic relief and often portrayed by white people. So I can totally see under that lens, using Black reaction animated GIFs can be really questionable.
Yeah.
But again, it's really hard to make a blanket statement to say that we shouldn't use Shaq because it's racist. We shouldn't use Oprah because it's racist. I don't agree with that. I think that who is using it in the context absolutely matters in that case.
It does matter. Oh my God, please. I never want to stop using the Shaq. Like, shake your shoulder.
And you know what? I don't think Shaq cares. One of my favorites is actually from The Simpsons.
Oh.
And it's Homer backing into the bush.
Yes.
Right? I'm going to disappear now. Right?
Like, I'm just going to leave.
The crazy thing about that particular animated GIF to me is how the GIF in and of itself has become a meme. And people have like replaced his face, have used, they've used like contemporary political figures.
Yes. I love that GIFs are playing a part in our political discourse now as like a nation.
And then the other one that has also been redone and reappropriated many, many times is the deal with it with the sunglasses. Typical use cases.
Yes.
I said something inflammatory and you're outraged and I just say deal with it. And like, it's a photo of me and then these 8-bit sunglasses coming.
Oh, 8-bit. Yeah.
On
Okay.
my face.
Yes.
And so I was looking up the history of this, and the provenance is unknown. They don't really know where it came from.
Interesting.
But you will see this version of the animated GIF done over and over again. There was one with Stevie Wonder, and this one was brilliant because it was Stevie Wonder wearing glasses because he's blind.
Right.
And then the glasses dropped down on his face to replace the other glasses. So it's just this infinite Stevie Wonder glasses.
Amazing.
Deal with it. This other article that I read said that the emoji doesn't convey enough emotion in a lot of cases, and that's why we go to the animated GIF, which I thought was kind of fascinating in a lot of ways.
I was thinking about that for this episode about my usage of GIFs versus emojis in private text conversations. I can say so much more with a GIF. I love the question of will they get more HD? That's a great question.
I like the low fidelity.
Me too.
I like the low fidelity. And you know, some of the stuff that I've been reading is a lot of the stuff on Twitter that you think is animated GIF is actually looped video now because it's more efficient.
Right.
From a technological perspective. But we still refer to these short, infinite looped clips as animated GIFs, which I guess is sort of a homage to the legacy of this thing. It's indestructible.
I love it. Keep using it. Guys, use them whenever you have a chance.
Yo.
Life's too short.
Deal with it.